My name is Aeloria Nixon, and I'm 28 years old. The word tumor came to me on a Tuesday. It was like a storm suddenly showing up in the sky. One minute the sky looked normal, and the next minute, everything changed. I had gone to the doctor for a normal checkup. It was the kind of appointment that you usually forget about until your phone reminds you. But that day, one scan turned into more scans, and the words "we'll call you" turned into "we need to schedule surgery." The doctor said it was not dangerous. He said it was benign, which means it wasn't cancer. But it was sitting on my kidney, and he said it should be removed. He said I would need at least 4 weeks to recover. He said I would need someone to stay with me for the first week. Someone was one little word, but it felt very heavy. It felt like a person would have to be there for everything, to help me with everything. I called Veyron from the hospital parking lot. My hands were steady enough to turn the key in my car, but not steady enough to drive home. "Hey," I said. "Remember the pain in my side?" He sounded busy, tapping on his keyboard. "Yeah, what did they say?" "They found something." "Surgery is April 15th, I told him. There was silence. Then he said, "April 15th. Ev, that's the same week as our Vegas trip." My stomach felt shaky and thin like jelly. "Can you change your trip?" I asked. He laughed a little, like I had said something funny that wasn't funny. "We've had this Vegas trip planned for 6 months. It's not a dentist appointment. There's a waiting list. I can't just cancel." I tried to explain. "The doctor said it's urgent. They want to remove the tumor as soon as possible." "Doctors always say urgent things," he said. "I can get a nurse to help after the surgery." "You want me to pay a stranger to do the part where you're my boyfriend?" I asked, feeling a little hurt. "I want you to stop making me feel guilty for not canceling every time you need something," he snapped. "I'll think about it," he said, and then he hung up the phone. I sat in the car, listening to the dial tone. I wished the dial tone could tell me what to do. That night, Veyron came home late. He tossed his keys on the counter and leaned against the kitchen island. He looked like a judge about to give a very serious decision. "The guys think it's manipulative for me to cancel," he said. "Manipulative?" I repeated, tasting the word in my mouth. I needed help for my surgery, and that word felt sharp. "You've probably had that tumor for months, and now it's suddenly urgent right before my trip," he said. I said quietly, "The doctor said urgent." They didn't make it up. We had been together for 3 years and living together for 1 year. I thought maybe I would get a ring by summer, a sign we were moving forward. Instead, I slept on the couch, counting my breaths so my chest wouldn't hurt from the fear. 2 weeks before surgery, I sent him a text. "I'm scared. I've never had surgery before. I really need you there." 3 hours later, his reply lit up my phone like a tiny fire. "LOL. You actually thought I'd cancel Vegas for your surgery? It's not even cancer. Stop being a baby." I stared at the screen until the letters blurred. Then I realized I had to make other plans. On April 15th at 5 a.m., Veyron left for the airport. He wore a hoodie and a grin like he was carefree. He kissed my cheek and said, "Don't die or whatever." He said it like it was a joke. I watched him go and felt a strange mix of sadness and relief. At 8 a.m., my sister Selenia arrived. She rolled her suitcase straight into my building and took the keys from my shaking hand. "Buckle up," she said softly. "We've got you." At the hospital check-in, the prep nurse, the Sarah, had eyes that had seen a lot but still chose to be kind. She asked for my emergency contact. "Selenia Rowe," I said. "Not Veyron." The Sarah nodded once. That nod said, "You are not the first person to make a hard choice here. You are doing okay. Immediate family only for updates," she said. Selenia muttered under her breath, "Immediate and immovable." The Sarah's mouth flickered like she had a secret smile. While they placed the 4 into my arm, Selenia talked to keep me calm. She told me funny little things to distract me. How the gate agent at the airport called her ma'am, and she almost cried, and how she stole 3 little packets of airplane pretzels because she said salt solves everything. When the anesthesiologist asked me to count backward, Selenia held my fingers. "I'm here. I'm here," she said. The last number I remember was 7. The surgery went very well. Waking up felt like coming up from deep underwater. First, everything was heavy and muffled, and then suddenly I could breathe again. Selenia was here with coffee and a huge smile. I heard. "They got it all. Doctors are very happy. I told your plant you'd be back soon." I laughed and winced at the same time because laughing tugged at my stitches and hurt a little. Around 6 p.m., my phone started vibrating nonstop. Selenia checked it for me. "Veyron," she said. And wow, there's a lot of Veyron. Ev, why aren't you answering? I asked. Hello, I know you're mad, but this is childish. Pick up, he texted. Selenia lifted an eyebrow. Want me to respond? No, I said. Let the hospital lights teach him a lesson. At 8 p.m., the nurse's station phone rang. The Sarah came in, smiling. There's Veyron Carter calling from Las Vegas. He says he's your boyfriend and wants to speak with you, she said. I'm sleeping, I said. Are you though? She asked, looking at me like she could see everything. She came back 10 minutes later. The persistent one called 3 times. Do you want me to answer? Selenia asked. I'll handle it, I said. Nurses are like generals with the best shoes, always in control. Selenia scrolled through her phone and laughed quietly. He was panicking because he could not be there. I didn't post anything online, I murmured. Yes, you did, she said. Just a photo of your book and the caption. Best Sister Award goes to me. No location, no tags. Veyron saw it. He texted Selenia. Why is Selenia there and not me? This is insane. I'm booking a flight. Answer me. If you die, I'll never forgive myself. Selenia almost choked laughing. By the next morning, I had 73 unread texts and 31 missed calls. Veyron was exploding with worry. Selenia leaned against the window, sipping her coffee like it was champagne. He tried FaceTiming you at 3 a.m., she said. Oh no, I groaned. Don't worry, she said sweetly. I told him you were in the ICU. You're not, but he doesn't know that. I relaxed a little. You're evil, I said. I learned from the best, she said. Remember when you told my ex I joined a cult, so he would stop calling? That was strategy. Yours is vengeance. The Sarah came in for morning rounds and dropped a folder on the table. Good news. Your surgery was perfect. Less good news. Your boyfriend called the nurse station 17 times last night. We started a scoreboard, she said, handing me the tally sheet like a trophy. 17. Selenia said. That's a lot of running for emotional manipulation. The Sarah shrugged. He's very worried about your critical condition. Critical condition? I asked. He made that up after hearing you were unconscious. Happens all the time, Selenia said, laughing until her eyes watered. I smiled. Nurses know how to handle Vegas boyfriends. For the next few days, Selenia stayed with me. She helped me with everything, drinking water, walking a little, even picking out clothes that would be easy to wear without hurting my stitches. She told stories, made jokes, and kept me calm when my mind went to scary places. Veyron tried calling, texting, and messaging all the time. He sent flowers too, but they came after Selenia had already arranged everything I needed. Selenia laughed every time he sent a message. Look at him in panic, she said. Even when I could finally walk a little on my own, Selenia stayed. She said, I'm not leaving until I'm sure you can take care of yourself. The hospital staff was amazing. The Sarah and the nurses treated me like I was someone very important, even though they had seen people with much worse problems every day. Their kindness helped me feel brave. By the end of the first week, I was stronger, but my body still felt sore and tired. Selenia made sure I rested and didn't try to do too much. She made me laugh even when the pain tried to make me grumpy. Veyron finally came home from Vegas, looking tired and guilty. He tried to explain, but I just shook my head. Selenia whispered, Let him see how much you managed without him. He realized how much I had done with Selenia's help. He understood that being a good boyfriend sometimes means showing up, not just saying words. By the afternoon, Veyron was all over social media. He had already posted 3 pictures and 2 short videos since the morning. One of the posts was just a black screen with white words that said, Sometimes you realize too late what really matters. Flying home early. Pray for her. The comments under his posts were full of people arguing. Some were confused. Wait, didn't you say she was okay yesterday? Didn't she want you to be there, and you went to Vegas instead? Why do men only care when everyone is watching? Selenia, my friend, scrolled through the comments like she was reading a reality TV show. She made funny voices for the people writing things, pretending she was a TV host narrating the drama. He's losing trust fast, she said, shaking her head. Then something surprising happened. Livian, his ex-girlfriend, wrote a small comment. It was short, but everyone noticed. Deja vu, it said. People quickly liked and replied to Livian's comment. Girl, what do you mean? Explain. But she didn't say more. Her words were like a tiny spark in dry grass. They started a fire without her doing anything else. Meanwhile, Veyron was calling hospitals, worried and yelling for updates about me. He kept asking, Is she okay? Is she awake? Can I speak to someone? But Selenia had already made sure no one could tell him anything. My hospital file was private. Only someone with the exact patient code and the right hospital could know I was there. Veyron had no chance. At 10 p.m., Sarah, another friend, knocked on my door softly. "You'll like this one," she said, smiling. "Your boyfriend called again. I may have said you were moved to a special unit." "Which special unit?" I asked. "I didn't say," she said, still smiling. "Let him imagine." Selenia laughed out loud. "Sarah, you're scary." I said. "It's my job," Sarah said seriously, but with a tiny twinkle in her eye. Women learn to be clear when needed and vague with men who don't pay attention. By midnight, Veyron was starting to make a fool of himself online. Selenia showed me his newest post. It was a selfie in an airport bathroom. His eyes looked red and tired. The caption said, "Some things matter more than friendship. I'm coming home to fight for her." Someone replied, "You didn't fight to stay with her before surgery, though." Veyron deleted it quickly. Another friend posted, "This is crazy. Didn't he skip Livian's appendectomy for Vegas too?" Selenia almost choked on her tea. "Oh," she whispered. "That's what Livian meant by déjà vu," I said quietly. "Yeah," she said. "And now it's all happening live." I watched as the drama unfolded online. People were commenting and liking, sharing stories, and comparing Veyron's behavior with other times. I felt a strange mix of emotions. Part of me felt pity, part of me felt amused, and part of me felt proud that I wasn't caught up in it anymore. The next day at noon, Dr. Orvian came into my room with my discharge papers. He raised his eyebrows and smiled a little. "Everything looks perfect. You can go home tomorrow," he said. Selenia smiled. "You hear that? Perfect. No problems." "Why the big emphasis?" Dr. Orvian asked, curious. Selenia pulled out her phone and showed him Veyron's post. Dr. Orvian scanned the screen, his eyebrows going up. "Wow," he said. "That's one way to tell about a recovery. Maybe charge him a PR fee," he laughed. That evening, Veyron finally arrived at the hospital. My phone started buzzing nonstop with calls, texts, and notifications. "Where are you? What hospital? I just want to see you. Why are you doing this?" Selenia ignored all the calls. "He's already outside," she said calmly, checking the security camera feed. "Sunglasses indoors." So dramatic. Sarah walked in, saw him outside, and sighed. "I'll handle it." 10 minutes later, she came back, smiling but trying not to laugh. He tried to say he was family. I asked him to say your birth date. He got it wrong twice. Selenia laughed. "You're my hero," she said. Sarah patted my hand. "You'll go home tomorrow. Let him make a fool of himself tonight." I lay back on my hospital bed, staring at the ceiling tiles patterned like tiny constellations. I realized I wasn't angry anymore. I didn't feel much of anything. Whatever kept us together was gone. The love, the trust, the feelings, they were all gone, floating away like dust. By dawn, I scrolled quietly on my phone. Selenia leaned over my shoulder and said softly, he posted again. The caption read, "Some people choose to suffer alone instead of letting love back in." Livian commented again. Or maybe she just showed that love shouldn't hurt twice. The comment section exploded with replies and likes. Veyron didn't delete it this time. He just stayed quiet. Somewhere between the fog of medicine and the absurdity of it all, I understood something important. He didn't come home for me. He came home for the show. The big, heroic act after he had been selfish. I wasn't just a side character in his story anymore. I was the writer. And I was already planning my exit. Day 3. The morning sun poured into the hospital room like forgiveness I didn't ask for. Selenia helped me pack my things carefully. Phone, charger, cardigan, half-finished book. She folded everything neatly, like she was holding back a storm of emotions. I zipped up my bag when the door swung open. Veyron was there. He looked messy, tired, and real. Not like a movie hero, but like someone who had been through a lot. His hair was matted, stubble uneven, and his hoodie wrinkled from the flight. "You're alive," he gasped, stepping forward. "Obviously," I said calmly. His eyes looked shiny, almost wet. "I've been calling for days. No one would tell me anything. They said you were unconscious. Not dying. You filled in the rest yourself," I said. Selenia leaned against the wall. "Hi, Veyron," she said, voice dry. "Vegas didn't work out," I thought. "You let me think you were on life support," he said. "I let you think what you wanted," I replied. "Just like you thought your trip mattered more than being here," he snapped. "That's different," he said, flushed and angry. "How?" Selenia asked sharply. "She had surgery. You went on a trip. I didn't know it was serious." He yelled. "All surgery is serious. You just didn't want to be bothered," I said softly. He started pacing the small hospital room, the wheels of his suitcase rattling behind him. I left early. I gave up 2 days of my trip to come back. Want a medal? Selenia muttered, shaking her head. I was worried sick, he said, voice cracking. Were you? Or worried about what everyone would see? I asked, my voice calm but firm. He froze, unable to answer. That's not fair, he said. It's not fair, I repeated. I begged you to be here. You said I was dramatic. You texted LOL. I deleted that, he said. Congratulations, I said. Still happened. Just then the Sarah entered, holding a clipboard and an expression that could curdle milk. Oh good, she said dryly. You found us. How was Vegas? Veyron opened his mouth, then closed it again. I hope it was worth it, the Sarah continued. Your recovery went beautifully. The real family showed up when it mattered. Selenia smiled. Told you she's my favorite nurse. I'm taking care of her, Veyron said suddenly. No, I said. Selenia's taking me. She already arranged a hotel and time off work. The doctor wants someone monitoring me 24/7. Selenia's staying. Veyron's jaw tightened. You're leaving me? I'm prioritizing my recovery and my peace, I said calmly. The Sarah handed me the discharge papers. You're cleared to go whenever you're ready. Thank you, I said. Don't thank me. Just heal and maybe block a few numbers, she said. That night, Selenia checked us into a small downtown hotel. Fresh sheets, room service, blessed silence. I sat on the bed, scrolling through my phone. Veyron had posted again. Some people can't handle strong, independent men who have lived outside them. Grateful she's okay. Shocked by the manipulation. I need my friends now more than ever. The comments were merciless. Being independent is not the same as being selfish. She had surgery. Didn't you abandon your ex Livian for Vegas too? He deleted it within the hour. 2 days later, my phone buzzed again. This time it was Livian. Hey, I don't know you, but I know him. When I had appendicitis 2 years ago, he skipped the ER to go on the same trip. Said he'd call later. I saw your story and knew exactly what was happening. I stared at her message, a lump forming in my throat. Selenia read it over my shoulder. Wow, she said softly. Livian's last line, you didn't overreact. You just saw him clearly. Back in the hotel, Selenia poured 2 glasses of cheap champagne she had smuggled in. To your kidney, she said. And to never dating men who think immediate family doesn't include decency. I laughed gently. Clink. To the Sarah and to lessons that don't require stitches next time. Weeks later, the Sarah emailed me a scanned copy of a tally sheet with 17 tiny hash marks. The subject line read, for the record body. He called once more after you left. We told him you'd made a miraculous recovery. I printed it, framed it, and hung it by my desk. Because miracles, I realized, don't always come from doctors. Sometimes they come from finally walking away. When I think about Veyron now, about the Vegas lights reflecting in his eyes that couldn't look at me when I needed them, I don't feel anger, just relief. He wanted a performance. I gave him silence. And silence always wins.